Hi Hemanth, we are live now.
Okay, so we'll start the session.
All right. Um,
Yeah. Uh, Good evening, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. Uh, I'm Hemanth J, the director of SRESOG, International Relations Council, and the national officer at Global Association of Indian Medical Students. It's my absolute honor to welcome you all for today's webinar on silent cries, hidden scars, unveiling the reality of child sexual abuse. It is hosted by Global Association of Indian Medical Students in collaboration with Arpan, an organization at forefront of child safety and abuse prevention. For those who are unfamiliar with GAIMS, the Global Association of Indian Medical Students, we are a platform that connects medical students across the nation and beyond, working towards education, advocacy, and leadership in healthcare. Through our initiatives like this, we aim to equip our future healthcare professionals with knowledge to address critical issues, including the child protection. Now, the child sexual abuse is deeply concerning issue that affects millions of children globally, often going unnoticed due to fear, stigma, lack of awareness. As lack of awareness, as future healthcare professionals, educators, and advocates, it's our responsibility to understand, address, and work towards preventing such incidents while ensuring safer environments for children. To guide us, we have uh, to guide us, we have uh, Miss Shubhangi Shinde, Assistant Manager, Training Services at Arpan. She's an expert in child safety and abuse prevention with extensive experience in training professionals, caregivers, and educators on how to identify, prevent, and respond to child sexual abuse effectively. Her, ins- her insights not only enhances our knowledge but also empowers us to take meaningful actions in our respective roles. Before we begin, let us know more about Arpan. Here's a short introduction about Arpan. Yeah. Without a further ado, let's welcome Miss Shubhangi Shinde to take over the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Sir, Can you stop screen sharing? I'll share screen from here.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. First and foremost, thank you so much for joining us here today for this session. Um, the video was quite informative. I can see that. I'll just share a little bit about our work. We've been working on this issue since 2007. We are an NGO based in Mumbai, and we do considerable amount of work in the space of child safety, where we work directly with schools and teach children personal safety skills. Along with that, we work with teachers and parents, provide therapeutic services to children and adults who have been sexually abused. um, Along with that, we also conduct training programs with teachers, social workers, and anybody who is interested or is motivated to start working in the space of child sexual abuse, to make sure that children are safe all over. Thank you so much for joining us. And we in today's session we'll be talking more on along the lines of how, as doctors, we can support children. Also, to understand the issue a little more in detail, we'll be talking a lot more on that. Yeah. So again, I'll just start the session. Um, so what we'll be doing is I'll be playing a small video here for you all, and yeah. So I'll be showing a video here. The video is again, it's a the people who are part of the video are actors, and this video was recorded with the purpose to be used in training programs such as this. Uh, Please, if at any point while watching the video, if you feel uncomfortable or you feel overwhelmed, please feel free to step away from your screen. It's perfectly all right to do that. And before we begin, this session is meant only for adults. So if you have children around you, please use your phones, or please move to a place where children won't be able to hear this conversation. This session is about children, but it's not meant for children, right? The information would, like, if children are hearing this information, it will be quite inappropriate for them. So requesting you all to make sure the children are kept away, and they're not hearing or seeing the content. Yeah. So I'll play the video here.
मुझे मेरी ट्यूशन क्लास के लिए लेट हो रहा है.
Is this audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay.
प्लीज़ जल्दी कीजिए.
बस 5 मिनट. मुझे अपने पॉडकास्ट चैनल के लिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट लिखना है.
आपको बस आपके पॉडकास्ट चैनल की ही पड़ी है. ठीक है, मैं जानवी के साथ चली जाऊंगी.
ये क्या है?
गुड मॉर्निंग.
नमस्कार, कैसे हैं आप?
नमस्ते भाभी जी.
अरे इसकी क्या जरूरत थी?
अरे भाभी जी कमाल करते हैं आप भी. पड़ोसी के काम नहीं आएगा तो फिर कौन आएगा. और वैसे भी पिछले 2 सालों से मैं ही आपके घर का सामान ला रहा हूँ ना, और आगे भी लाता रहूंगा. और भाभी जी प्लीज, आप लोगों की हेल्प करना मुझे अच्छा लगता है.
थैंक्स.
ये क्या मोबाइल ऊपर नीचे कर रहे हो? हाँ, ट्यूशन के लिए लेट नहीं हो रहा है क्या आपको? चलिए आज हम आपको ट्यूशन छोड़ेंगे. चलिए चलिए आ जाइए.
नहीं, मैं छोड़ दूंगी इसको.
हाँ, मैं जानवी के साथ चली जाऊंगी.
देखिए मैडम अब बड़ी हो गई हैं. अंकल के साथ में ट्यूशन जाने में शर्म आती है इन्हें. हाँ, भूल गई आप? जब आप छोटी थी तब आपके पापा और मैं आपको स्कूल छोड़ने भी जाते थे और ट्यूशन भी छोड़ने जाते थे. चलिए.
थैंक्स विक्रांत जी.
अरे भाभी जी कैसी बात कर रही हो?
बाय.
लो जी, हम आ गए. कितनी बड़ी हो गई हो तुम. कल की सी बात है जब तुम छोटी सी बच्ची थी, और अब विश्वास ही नहीं होता कि जवान हो गई हो. मेरे पास में कुछ है, तुम्हें दिखाता हूँ. बड़ी हो गई ना, तुम्हें मजा आएगा देखकर. व्हाट्सएप पे किसी ने भेजा था. ये देख, तुमने ये किसी के साथ में किया?
मुझे ये सही नहीं लग रहा है। मैं यहाँ से बाहर कैसे निकलूं? जानवी आ गई, मुझे जाना चाहिए।
अरे रुको तो, अरे रुको।
आज जब विक्रांत अंकल घर आएंगे तो मैं उन्हें नो कहूँगी, लेकिन वो मुझसे बड़े हैं। अगर उन्होंने मेरे बारे में अफवाह फैलाई तो सबको यही लगेगा कि मैं बदतमीज़ हूँ और सब मम्मी को बुरा भला कहेंगे। मॉम भी उन पर डिपेंड करती हैं। वो पापा की डेथ के बाद से हमारी हेल्प कर रहे हैं। अगर किसी ने मेरी बात का भरोसा ही नहीं किया तो मैं क्या करूं?
श्रद्धा उठ गई क्या?
आ गई तुम?
मम्मी आज जानवी मुझे पिकअप करने आएगी।
अभी तक तो आई नहीं।
और तुम अपनी फ्रेंड को परेशान करोगे? अरे जब मैं आ ही गया हूं तो मैं छोड़ देता हूं। चलो ट्यूशन चलते हैं। आ गए हम आपके ट्यूशन सेंटर। अरे रुको ना, मैं खोलता हूँ।
उन्हें नो कह दे श्रद्धा, नो कह दे। स्टॉप करने के लिए बोल दे।
हेलो।
Passing on a questionnaire to every group, right? So what you have to do when you get the questionnaire is you take 3 minutes to
हाय, हेलो, वेलकम एंड नमस्ते। मुझे उम्मीद है कि आपका दिन बहुत अच्छे से गुजर रहा है। बचपन में मेरी मम्मी कभी भी घर के बाहर मुझे शॉर्ट्स या स्कर्ट्स पहनने नहीं दिया करती थी। तभी मैंने सोच लिया था कि जब मेरी बेटी होगी तब मैं उसे कोई भी रोक टोक नहीं लगाऊंगी। वो जैसे जीना चाहती है वैसे उसे जीने दूंगी। अगर आप अपने बच्चों पर भरोसा करेंगे तो वो भी आप पर उतना ही भरोसा करने लगेंगे। और मुझे उम्मीद है कि मेरी बेटी भी ये बात जानती है कि चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए मैं हमेशा उसका साथ दूंगी, जैसे कि आपके हेल्पफुल एडल्ट्स आपका साथ देंगे।
श्रद्धा, क्या हुआ?
मम्मी,
क्या हुआ बच्चे? क्या हुआ?
वो विक्रांत अंकल।
विक्रांत, बैठो, मैं पानी लेके आती हूँ, ठीक है? बैठो। काश मैं इसके लिए पहले कुछ कर पाती।
वो हमारी हेल्प करते हैं और आप उन पर भरोसा भी करती हो, इसलिए मुझे लगा कि आप मेरी बात पर विश्वास नहीं करोगे।
मुझे खुशी है कि तुमने मुझे इसके बारे में बताया, पर आई एम सॉरी, हिम्मत की ज़रूरत होती है और तुमने जो हिम्मत दिखाई है मैं जान बहुत बहादुर हो।
Should I continue it from my end?
क्या हुआ, तुम अभी तक तैयार नहीं हुई? और बैग कहाँ है तुम्हारा? ट्यूशन पर नहीं जाना है? चलो चलते हैं, लेट हो रहा है ट्यूशन। अरे आशा जी देखिए ना, इसे समझाइए, क्या हुआ? क्या 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 हुआ?
मम्मी को सब पता है आपने मेरे साथ क्या किया। वो सेक्सुअल
क्या?
Sorry, there has been some network issue. All right, so we'll go directly into the session now. तो हमने अभी like we just saw the video, and all I understand, because some of you may be attending the session on YouTube, you may not be able to respond, but I would still want you to think about, like, look at the video and think about what were the behaviors where you felt that Shraddha was going through child sexual abuse, or she was experiencing. Like, if you look at the video, the way it started out, it is someone she knows, it is someone she trusts, it is someone her family knows and has trusted for so many years, right? And someone like that, offering the child to drop her to a tuition class is not a big deal. I mean, it's something that we all either have experienced or have offered as help to children we know, right? That I'll drop the child to their class or the school or any game or park, any place that the child may be visiting, right? So it is a very commonplace occurrence. But what made that situation an unsafe situation was the fact that that somebody they trusted tried to abuse the girl, abuse Shraddha. And if we look at what are the different ways child sexual abuse can happen, there are two ways. One of them is contact abuse, where the child is being touched in an inappropriate way. Sex. Along with that, a person could be fondling or touching the child's private parts, or making the child touch the powerful person's private parts. Even that is a form of child sexual abuse, right? Now, in Shraddha's case, if we go that sexual abuse, where she was not sexual content, right? Vikrant showed her some content on his phone which was sexual in nature, made her feel unsafe. He tried touching her, but it was not success. But if you look the way it was sexual in nature, or watching or looking at this child when they're in a state of undress, say they're having a bath, they're sexual. Go back to the video. The way right? Yes, so we were talking about online sexual abuse, and few forms of online sexual abuse could be cyber stalking, where someone is following the child, keeping an eye on the child, what they're doing, where they go, what they spend time doing, who are their friends, etc., etc. Live streaming, they can groom children, or they can convince children to share their sexual content online, right? And that material can be further used to also commit sextortion with children, where they are forced to make more content, or come and meet them, etc. And these are some of the reasons why online spaces, yes, I believe children should have access using the online space, because as interesting and as enriching online space can be, it can also be an unsafe space for children, right? Now, moving on, if you look at the statistics around child sexual abuse, there was in 2007 a study was conducted by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. It was conducted in 13 states with more than 12,000 children, and these children were from all varied background, socioeconomic backgrounds, right? So it wasn't some one control group, but uh, children from varied backgrounds were interviewed, and they found out that 53% of children, more than 53% of children in India have reported one or more forms of sexual abuse. Yeah. And both boys and girls are equally vulnerable. According to the National Crime Record Bureau statistics of 2022, uh, there were more than 1,62,000 children, uh, cases of crime against children, of which 68,000 cases were of sexual crime against children. And if you again compare it to 2021, in 2022, a 10% increase was seen in the reported cases of sexual crime against children. Yeah. And if you further break down this data, 39,000 child rape cases were recorded. And majority of the victims were between the ages of 16 and 18. 98% of victims were girls, and 97% offenders were known to the victim. So it's not some random stranger abusing children. It is someone they knew. And most cases, if you see, children know the offender. So yeah, it is not. I think most of us are quite aware that it is no longer a stranger danger thing, but we need to make sure that children are aware and know how they can seek support if they are in an unsafe situation. Maximum cases were reported in Uttar Pradesh, followed by Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh.
Hi,
Yeah,
Shubhangi. Sorry to cut you in.
no problem.
Yeah. Can we just stop sharing the PPT for a while? Because I think there is some issue at the back end with the PPT. So I think we can
Okay.
continue with the session, but without the PPT. I'm so sorry for that. Sorry for cutting you, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, sure. No problem. Yeah. So yes, we were talking about the data, and in 2022, 11,071 cases of sec- cases were reported where child sexual abuse material was created or transmitted or shared. Right? These cases were also reported. And yes, it may seem like 2022 data is so old, but it's the latest data that we have from the National Crime Record Bureau. We will be receiving the 2023 data and the analysis by this year, February, March. We should be receiving the 2023 data. Yeah, so it is as latest data as possible that we're sharing with you. Now, moving on to a few more questions around the video that we saw. In these cases, do you think children who are sexually abused, do you think they're prepared for the abuse? Do you see any planning that goes into abusing children? Any thoughts around that? And yes, if your answer was yes, there has to be some planning. Yes, there is some planning involved in cases of child sexual abuse. So, for example, if you were to look at what happened with Shraddha, there was some planning involved. Now, this planning could be where the child was targeted. When an abuser targets a child, they're looking at a child from this lens that who are these? Is this child vulnerable? Can I get away with abusing this child? So they are targeting a victim. They will also invest time in gaining the victim's trust. And yes, while they are working with the child, they are making sure that the child trusts them completely. Along with that, they're also going to work on fulfilling the child and their family's needs. So in Shraddha's case, if you look at the video, Shraddha's father has passed away, and the family is dependent on Vikrant for some tasks, for some support. Yeah. So the abuser will make sure that they target someone who's in a vulnerable situation. They will also start gaining their trust by uh, supporting them by fulfilling their needs. And not just that, they will also start isolating the child. Isolating can be physical. For instance, this in the video we saw that how Vikrant created isolated moments where Shraddha was all alone with him. So yes, abusers will also bring in some situations where the child is alone with them, but they will also create situations where the child feels that this abuser is the only person I can go to for help. So they will isolate the child emotionally and physically. Yeah. And slowly, gradually, they'll start sexualizing the relationship. So by sexualizing, what we mean is they'll make the child comfortable with their touch, make the child feel comfortable with the activity that the abuser is doing with them. When the child no longer thinks that, okay, something is off, they could be thinking, oh, this person is a nice person. If they are doing something, if there's nothing wrong with them. So slowly, gradually, they'll make the child feel comfortable with their touch, and that's when the abuse will begin. Here, when the abuse begins, the child will be a little alarmed, will be a little scared, and here the abuser, by use of manipulation, by emotional manipulation, or by threat, blackmail, they will maintain control of the situation where the child feels, I can't seek help, or if I seek help, if I tell anyone, I will be blamed for it. So either by fear or by manipulating the child's emotions, by tricking them, the abuser makes sure that the child stays quiet and does not report about the abuse. Yeah. And there is impact on children. Children are impacted by abuse. Like if you look at the video, there was immediate impact on the child's feeling. Yeah, she was scared. She was confused. She was also she was also scared that what will people talk, what will people say about me, what will they talk about my mother, they will call me names, or they will spread rumors about me, or they will blame me. Yeah, so there is anger, there is shame, there could be fear, shock, confusion, along with that guilt. Also, the shock that someone they trusted, someone they liked, did something like that. So there could be shock as well. And once there is the immediate impact would be on feelings, but because the abuse and the impact, it is also um, the child is not able to understand what exactly is happening. It slowly, gradually will also impact, show its impact on their behavior. So these are some of the visible indicators that I'm sharing with you that you can look out for in children. And this is for generally for all children, not in just as a capacity of a doctor, but in any capacity where you work with children, or where you interact with children. These are some of the indicators that we can watch out for. For example, there could be social withdrawal. There could be a child who is very outgoing, suddenly stays quiet, or suddenly is not wanting to um, interact with others. Yeah. Uh, they will stop interacting or engaging in activities that they earlier used to enjoy. There could be increased hostility or aggression. There could be drastic change in achievement pattern. So पहले बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स आते थे, अभी अच्छे मार्क्स नहीं आ रहे, और बहुत पहले बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स नहीं आते थे, अचानक से अच्छे मार्क्स आने लगे. So there could be a drastic change in achievement in terms of both. So they could do extremely well. They could stop doing well in their studies as well. There could be sexualized behavior or early sexual activity. See, children are not understanding that what's happening with them is not okay. Children sometimes, because they are they're not understanding what's happening with them, they can reenact the abuse. So children can engage in sexual activity, or their behavior could turn sexual. Yeah. Along with that, they could be using sexually abusive language. They could be eating and sleep disturbances. They could also experience depression. They could also experience suicidal ideation. Along with that, there is something called psychosomatic disorders. And I think that this is something that as doctors, we need to be mindful of. So what exactly happens in psychosomatic illness? A child um, suddenly experiences some pain. Yeah. Now, what exactly is happening? The child could be stressed about this situation. That, oh, okay, now, for example, the child is being sexually abused in a tuition class. Now, as like they see that the tuition's time, say, is at 6 in the evening, by 5:30 they would start feeling this anxiety. They're very scared, very worried, and this stress is going to manifest itself in a form of some physical disorder. For example, they could have stomach aches, they could have sudden aches and pains in the body, sudden loose motions, nausea, um, uh, some pain in some body part, or they could be having fever, sudden feeling of fever. Now, if we take the child to the doctor would, of course, they will check the child and they'll be like, okay, they could be, yeah. Uh, so we may get confused, like, is there any reason behind this? What exactly is happening? But there's no medical reason for it to be there, that disorder to be there. What exactly is happening? The child is scared, the child is stressed, and that stress is manifesting itself in a physical uh, uh, symptom. Yeah. So I think as doctors, this is something that we can watch out for. Now, the only sure indicator if a child is pregnant, if the child has contracted any of the sexually transmitted infections, or if the child has come and told you about. Now, these are some of the indicators that we can watch out for. Along with that, it's great if, as parents or as again as any adult in a child's life, we can include some personal safety education concepts in a child's daily conversation, or in general, one of the safety rules that we can bring into a child's conversation, where children are aware that in case they feel unsafe, and this person who is making them feel unsafe could be anybody. This person could be someone they know, someone they don't know. If they feel unsafe, they can say no, they can run away or get away, and they can come and talk to their safe, trusted. And to teach children these personal safety messages, you can go and visit Arpan's e-learn website. It's a free of charge website, so there is no cost attached with any of the courses available there. We have courses beginning right from KG, pre-primary children, uh, up to 13-year-olds. Yeah, it's the courses are available in Hindi, English, and Marathi, and some other regional languages also. So definitely go and check Arpan eLearn website. There are courses for adults as well as children, and it would help greatly if we can support children by giving them the messages. And as again, as doctors, what we can do, if children come and tell us, please, let's believe the child, be non-judgmental, and be vigilant. The Oftentimes when a child is visiting a place where the abuser is scared that the child can go and talk to them, they will accompany the child, they will make sure that they don't leave the child without their supervision. So be vigilant. If we see any signs that, okay, there are these mysterious signs on the body, there are some mysterious issues that the child is displaying, that you feel, okay, something is off, like your instincts or your gut is telling you something is off here, let's be vigilant and try and talk to the child. Yeah. Let Try, if possible, if we can have some one-on-one time with the child and talk to them, give them explanation. Children don't know what exactly is happening, so whatever procedure you need to do, give them some explanation, give them some idea about what exactly is happening, and be empathetic. It's important that we are empathetic while we're doing it. Along with that, if we can uh, take consent of children. See, according to our law, about 12 children can give consent for medical checkups. Below 12, you have to take consent from their caregivers or their guardians or trusted adults, right? So, but this is something that we can be aware of while talking to children. Along with that, take if you suspect that there is abuse, please pay attention. Take Make note of any detail you feel can help, because everything that you collect, right from signs on their body, anything on their clothes, anything, any mark, anything that makes you feel that something is off, any piece of evidence can be used in by police to further investigate and again make the case more stronger. So if that's something we can do, it would be of great help. And I'm sure you all are aware about the POCSO law. POCSO is POCSO Act, Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2019. It came into power in 2012, and it's been here Uh, uh, the idea behind that law was to make sure that children receive support, right? Sexual abuse is prevented. So please read up about the law, understand your role in the, because under POCSO, there are sections directing doctors as well, that what doctors are supposed to do or what doctors are required to do. So if you can go through the law, it will definitely help in understanding what your role would be, how you can better support children. Yes. And I think we are running out of time here, but please feel free to connect with Arpan. We are there on all the major social media platforms. You can also find us on Google. You just have to write Arpan NGO and you can learn about us, and connect with us if you need any kind of support or you know someone who needs support, counseling support or therapeutic support, or to organize such more sessions. So do connect with us. We are always there and we'll try to support in whatever way possible. Thank you so much for having us and thank you so much for um, uh, organizing this session. It was lovely interacting with all of you and connecting with all of you.
Ma'am, it's our pleasure to have you here. Thank you for getting us a certain informative session. Uh, yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think we'll be moving towards the question answer session. Anchit will be taking over from you.
Hello, ma'am. So, our audience had specific questions for this session. Thank you for this informative
Yeah.
session. So, the first question would be what changes in our institutions, like in our healthcare institutions, how can we improve the framework so we could, something to tackle the taboos and norms surrounding CSA?
I think having more conversations, I believe the more conversations we have, the more comfort will be bringing in, the more discomfort will be reducing. So if you can organize sessions, more conversations, along with that, some awareness around the issue, that will definitely help in bringing down the taboo. Because see, taboo is there because uh, we are not talking about it. As a society, we have stopped talking about it. So the more we talk, the more comfort and the more confidence we'll be bringing in our conversations, where a cultural shift is required, where we stop looking at children who have been sexually abused with this entire lens that something is wrong with them or something they have done something wrong. So awareness, more frequent conversations, that will definitely help in reducing or removing the discomfort or taboo around child sexual abuse.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yes, ma'am.
I
That was.
hope I have answered. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. We should definitely talk about it more so that we can reduce the taboos. Ma'am, also someone asked, like, let's say when children they report to us in a medical institution, how can we make sure that the process of disclosing their information, they're not uncomfortable and it doesn't promote like re-traumatization of the children? How deep should we go into it with them, and without making them uncomfortable?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Um, yeah. So sorry, I was yeah. Uh, See, children, when they are talking about their sexual abuse, one thing that we need to understand is that it takes great courage for them to come and talk about it, right? So we need to make sure that the child feels comfortable. Not How do we do that? By talking to them in a very normal way, without doing a lot of hullabaloo over it. Oh my God, something like this happened with you. Oh no, nothing like that. No over exaggerated or panicked reaction. So if we can stay calm while we are talking to the child, appreciate the child, that thank you for telling me, you're very brave that you would talk about it. and be empathetic. How will we be empathetic? We'll be empathetic by we how by putting ourselves in the child's position. Like, how would we feel if we are asked too many questions? If we are told that, why didn't you talk about this earlier? Or if somebody comes and tells us that you must have done something to provoke that person. So by not blaming the child, by not asking or bombarding the child with a lot of questions, these are some of the things that we can do while talking to the child. I completely understand, we may be like, oh, I need to get every bit of information possible, but let's focus on giving the child some space and time to talk about it at their own pace without making them feel um, you know uh, that if they don't tell, something really bad is going to happen. Give them their space, give them the let's like have this conversation at their pace instead of our pace. We may want all the information right now, but the child may not be ready to talk right now. So tell them that, okay, it's okay. Tell me however much you can remember, however much you want to talk about right now. We can ask open ended questions. Do you want to tell me more about it? What happened? If they stop talking, offer them some water and wait. Wait for them to. Yeah, I again, I completely understand. If we are in a in an environment which is fast paced, we may be like, oh, I have 10 other cases to manage. I can't sit with this child for half an hour. But let's work at the child's pace. I think that's one of the things that we can do to make sure that the entire disclosure process is comfortable for the child, where their comfort, their uh, uh, discomfort, or for that matter, is taken into consideration. Yeah. One more thing, Anchit, if in case we are unable to respond to all the questions, please share those questions with us. We'll definitely get back to you with their responses in case we're not able to handle them here in the this session.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anything else? Hmm.
uh, One more final question, which I think was a bit important to address. So, children, child sexual abuse, it usually revolves around a lot of adult themes. So, how can we explain it to to children who are relatively younger? How can we sort of make them aware of the situation surrounding this?
A very good question. Children, I think I will go back to what I've said earlier. We have very good courses on Arpan eLearn website. Please, if if you're managing the chat on YouTube, you can share the link for Arpan eLearn website. If you can share the link there, uh, Arpan eLearn website has some courses that can be used to have this conversation with children. Uh, as adults, you can go through the course first, understand the course, what kind of questions can be asked, and then sit with the child and ask them to take the course with you. So in case there are any questions, you can answer them. You can uh, explain to them, okay, this is what it exactly is talking about. uh, so first and foremost, we need to talk to children about safe and unsafe situations. We need to talk to them about private parts, that there's nothing wrong about talking about private parts. There's nothing shameful about or dirty about private parts. Because again, a lot of these abusers are also um, comfortable in this fact that children are so uncomfortable talking about private parts. Parents are so uncomfortable talking about private parts that everybody is going to keep quiet about it, right? So they are relying on these taboos and discomfort of us, the society, to abuse children. And that's why the more conversations we have, the more taboos we break around child sexual abuse, the easier it would be for children to talk, for us to help. So having personal safety conversations where children know about safe and unsafe, children know about private parts, children know about how we can um, they can seek help, how they can um, uh, tell and believe, inherently believe. Like, we want children to believe that no matter what, child sexual abuse is not their fault. Like, if there is any instance where they were touched in an unsafe way or they were made to feel unsafe, the first thought the child should have in their head was, what happened was not my fault, before anything else. Even if they're not able to run away, even if they're not able to seek help immediately, the first thought the child should have was, I don't know what happened with me, but what happened was not my fault. Yeah. So if we can inculcate these concepts in our children's mind, I think this would definitely help them in dealing with these experiences. Because children keep quiet because they don't know how we can, what we need to do, or because children fear that what happened was my fault. Dr. Abhishek, you raised your hand. Do you have a question?
Hi, ma'am. So good evening. Firstly, thank you so much for this webinar, and kudos to the team that they reached out to your foundation and they arranged this webinar. So currently, I'm serving as the president of this organization. So, ma'am, I have few suggestions that the information that you shared on the during your screen share and the content. But is it possible that the courses that you have, I feel
Hmm.
that doctors, especially the medical students, are the starting point of inculcating any new concept or any new way of empathizing with these patients, with these, because we
Hmm.
see everyone as a patient and we categorize them into that category. But it's also very important that we have that empathy towards that. Okay, this person has gone through that, and there are certain terminologies, there's certain way of talking to these patients. So is it
Yeah.
possible that with Arpan Foundation, James can work around with building up a certain course where we can have a proper uh, a description and a course curriculum where it focuses on POSCO, and the doctors are well sensitized about the POSCO Act, because I think there are a lot of misconceptions about POSCO.
Hmm.
Although we are
Hmm.
taught during our community medicine that there is an act called POSCO, but the real field world experience is lacking, I feel, among medical
Yeah.
students especially. So, and if we try to cultivate all these concepts into medical students at a very early stage, we'll
Hmm.
be
Hmm.
able
Hmm.
to create a greater impact. And because at the end of the day, when child shares all these things with their teachers and their parents, but the parents bring the child to the hospital or they want to get
Yeah.
professional help, so the professional should also be trained into that.
Yeah.
They should know how to talk about it. So
Yeah.
firstly about POSCO, and then we also want that if Arpan Foundation could help us in organizing such sessions at a school level program sort of thing, where we can reach, because we are working on a lot of school level programs for
Hmm. Hmm.
HPV vaccination awareness and all those things. So I
Yeah.
think this could also be one of those sectors or domains where we could use our network and reach out to hospitals and schools, primary schools and secondary schools. So in that way, I think the impact would be greater compared
Hmm.
to a webinar. Webinar is, of course, it's good for medical students, but at the end of the day, it's always the public who is facing all these things, and a lot of cases they don't are reported just because they don't know how to handle it. So what are your thoughts on this?
Okay. All right. I think Mustafa, who's also here on this link right now, we can definitely take it ahead and discuss this further of how we can, like, we would more than be happy to take this partnership ahead, because you are doing some impactful work and would definitely would like to join hands to support in whatever way possible and reach out to more people, of course. So again, we can take this offline and discuss in detail how we can see this partnership grow and what else we can do together. It would be very interesting to see that.
So much. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that was the last question we had. So we can close here.
Yes, ma'am, we can close.
Yeah, thank you so much.